Hello, everyone. I am so grateful to join you today here on Facebook and YouTube for our production of New Thought for a New World, which is offered by the INTA, the International New Thought Alliance, the oldest existing umbrella organization for New Thought still in existence. And over the next few weeks, we're going to be doing interviews with people who are involved in our 106th Annual World Congress. You can find out more about that at newthoughtevents.org. But right now, I'm Dale Worley, Reverend Dale Worley, the minister at Unity of Savannah in Savannah, Georgia. I'm also on the board for INTA, and I'm very happy to welcome to the program today Carolyn Douglas, who is also a member of the board along with me, and she is the chair for this year's Congress. So we're so glad you took out time in your busy schedule, Reverend Carolyn, to join us today.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me to be here. I am truly honored to be here because what you're asking me to talk about is one of my favorite subjects. I love New Thought. I love the spiritual life. I love what it does for my life. You see, I have a smile on my face. This is my subject matter. I really enjoy it very much. And I love the fact that it gives me such a wonderful, rounded perspective of people and life.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So you are a minister with the Centers for Spiritual Living, is that correct?
that is correct. Yes, I am.
Can you
I
tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the INTA and maybe a little bit about your spiritual center in California?
All right. Well, thank you. You know, one of the ways I became involved with INTA was when I was doing ministerial training. And we had to do colloquiums and we had to do certain visits for religious and spiritual celebrations. And we had to receive credit for that as part of the requirements for our ministerial education. And INTA was having its meeting in Arizona, an area where my work assignment had me to go. So when I found out that one of the meetings was going to happen, I purposely set my work schedule up to be in Arizona at the time, and even though I could not attend during the day, I was able to attend in the evening. And I've been with INTA for some time. I truly enjoyed myself. Now, this is what I like about INTA in conjunction with the rest of my life. When I was raised in mainline Christian thinking, I was in the Baptist church, but my family was diverse in Christianity and which particular denomination to follow. So we were following kind of like all of them. And then here comes the Jewish clan, and here comes the Mennonite clan. Oh, they're the Presbyterians. So it was like everybody was there. And in our family reunions, we would go to one of the family farms and everybody would come to the table. That remains as such a significant, stark, clear vision in my mind. Every time I speak of this, I see it so clearly, the table and everybody there, because nobody was left out. And if somebody approached, that person got a chair and was placed at the table. So my life has been continually to expand. I'm not going to say evolve, but to expand, to be inclusive of all of that. So when I let my family know that I was basically leaving the Baptist church because I wanted more, it's like, have you lost your mind? It wasn't that I had lost my mind. It was that I was seeking more and I wanted to have more of a table to experience thought, to see where there were commonalities, the similarities, to see if there was really any difference. And I can tell you what I found is that we're all one. People are people.
Hmm. Yeah,
People are people we love, we cry, we support one another, we disappoint one another. We all have similar same experiences. So
that's a
new
beautiful story. I
thing.
love the table vision. I can see that in my head as you're describing it. It's wonderful. And I like that about INTAs. There's so many different flavors of new thought that
Mhm.
all come together at least once a year in our Congress. Now you've been to quite a few Congresses, I'm
Yes,
guessing. Is there like one memory that stands out to you that you could say this was one of my favorite experiences at a Congress?
I have many. I don't know if there's any one in particular that really stands out, but I can recall the very first Congress that I attended where I was able to be there for every session. I saw some of my friends that I had met along the way attended there. So it's like, oh my God, I see my peeps. You didn't tell me you were doing this. So I was really happy to see people that I had experienced along the way in my growing in understanding of universal principles and just enjoying people as a whole. We were already on that same path together. So just knowing that too also helped me to expand my thinking about it's okay to not be locked into this is my one way of thinking, my one way of doing, my one way of being, but to be open and expansive, because to be in that one way would mean that I wouldn't have those people. I wouldn't have you in my life at my table.
So you've been to a lot of Congresses. This year, you were the chair of the
I,
Congress committee. That sounds like a daunting responsibility. Can you talk about your experience being on the other side of the coin this go around?
it is a daunting experience, and it's like, God, are you crazy? And God says, no, and neither are you. Breathe. And what has been very good for me is to expand myself, to learn new people, to invite people that I admire, have followed their work, to be a part of the Congress and to share their thoughts. One of the practices that we do in Centers for Spiritual Living, and I know other New Thought denominations do it also, is we use the visioning process. And, just doing that spiritual practice of visioning helps to identify what is it that we really want to experience. And what was very interesting for me was that this little pen that came in the thought process of in light of the pandemic situation that we're in.
Mm.
So it's like, what are the thoughts? What's the new thing? What are the awakenings? What are you now aware of? Or are there things that you're now aware of that you want to consider? So that became our theme. And because we're looking at what do we need to focus on in our life now, we have these sub things of focus on your consciousness and self care. Sometimes we put other things and other people before us and our relationship with spirit. The other thing is to be aware of the social justice and the justice issues that are there. They're so predominant now, we cannot ignore them. And then the things that we're seeing through science. We're seeing right now such a wonderful coming together of science and spirituality. In the science of mind, we have this section in the textbooks that says what the mystics taught, what the mystics knew. Well, we're finding that our scientists are identifying the same things that the mystics taught, that the mystics knew, that was revealed through their spiritual practices. So it's wonderful to be able to share these kinds of thoughts with those who would come to the Congress, as well as in our individual centers, our churches, because they're so relevant for today. If we are to change how we deliver the words, the messages of new thought that incorporates these new revelations, if you would call them revelations, but perhaps a better word would be understandings, to
Mm.
help put these understandings in a better perspective, then we can appreciate the scientists, we can appreciate the psychologists, we can appreciate the psychotherapists, we can appreciate the down home minister and the collegial pastor. We can appreciate what all have to say. And you know who is good for this? INTA.
Amen.
INTA. Why? Because we have all of those disciplines being addressed in the centers where our ministers and members are.
So we got a lot coming up. It's in about a month. Um, we're online again this year. So I hope that you'll consider joining us. Go to newthoughtevents.org. You can sign up there. If you're a member of the INT, be sure to check your snail mail box, because you should have gotten an invitation from us this week in a registration form. The dates are July 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Again, you can go to newthoughtevents.org. And Reverend Carolyn, tell us, what are you looking forward to the most this year at our 2021 Congress?
So, what I'm looking forward to is everything. There is There isn't anything on the program that I don't want to be a part of. I
Mm.
love having my moments of meditation. We have meditation every day, morning and night. Then there are some inspirational talks that will be done by some of our wisdom teachers. Oh my goodness, to sit at the feet of people who have been steeped in principles, steeped in this thought of the study of life and how it is for us, and to share what they glean to be, here are some new things that we want to consider. Dennis Mary Jones will talk about the redefining of your life. I love the fact that here we have Sage, Dr. J. Scott Neal, who's going to give us a bit of history of New Thought and INTA. And then we have Dr. Tim Stewart on the first night, our opening night, who's going to set the tone for what this whole Congress is about, followed up by none other than the absolutely amazing Reverend Dr. Sheila McKeithen of Universal. Oh my goodness,
Foundation for what is she UFBL?
UFBL.
Yes.
Oh my God, this is a powerhouse. But beyond that, we have one of our wonderful guests speakers on Thursday evening, and that is Mitch Horowitz. Who does not enjoy Mitch Horowitz? I'm looking forward to his time of teaching us about what he understands from the life and teachings of Neville Goddard. Not only will he give a speaking opportunity to us, but he says, guess what? I will even do a Q&A with the audience. Who wouldn't want to be there on the mic saying, uh, Mitch, here's my question, and have that one-on-one dialogue with him. So I think that's really wonderful. Some of our other presenters are Reverend Jerry Hobby, Reverend Christy Snow, Reverend Margarita Rodriguez. We have Rafe Ellis from CSL. We have Gina Alicia. We have one Power of Eight prayer group that will sharing one of their prayers with us. And all you have to do is just sit and be a part of the prayer and receive the energetic, the beauty, and the flow of that divine energy that's available. So we're not without big, heavy hitters. Darrell Watkins from Divine Signs, Cynthia Alice Anderson, Unity, a great workshop from Reverend Linda Martella Whitsitt. Silent Unity. I mean, what else would you want? No, we're not having food unless you bring home.
Well,
And
it sounds like you
I
have
have
all the bases covered,
well,
and
I
you've got
have to
me
bring that
fired up
in.
about
I have to bring that in because one of the things we say in Science of Mind is when we meet, we eat. Well,
it.
we will feast from this rich table of the spiritual food and the blessing that each one of the contributors will do. So everybody, please come out and hear Tracy Brown as well as Reverend Sonia Byrne, who's the executive director of Centers for Spiritual Living. So if you're in business, come in here, her tell you about this thing, about this lovely chaos that we experience in our lives. It's wonderful. I'm excited.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
can
are you
tell.
ready? Are you ready to do this? I didn't tell you about the music.
The music, there's music too, but wait, there's more.
We will have music. You know, our musicians, I asked my musicians if they were interested in coming, and the answer was an overwhelming yes. So Deb Santa Maria and Kenneth Cozy Arrington will be our opening musicians on that Tuesday evening. And then we have this lovely, wonderful musician from, I think she lives over in Hawaii.
Hawaii, Hawaii.
Yeah, her name, Faith, is that right? Faith Rivera. She's going to be with us. And it's just going to be absolutely a blessing to anyone who comes. So
Absolutely.
I'm
So
looking
go ahead
forward.
and register. Head on over to newthoughtevents.org and register. We'd love to have you join us. And Reverend Carolyn, would you please take some of that enthusiasm and offer a prayer treatment for us to close out?
Oh my goodness. Recognizing right where we are. There's only one power, one presence, one infinite intelligence. That is the infinite mind of spirit, and we're one with it here right now. So, as I speak my word, I know it is spirit, it is life giving. So, I'm giving thanks and gratefulness for it right now. I accept and know that this Congress is already perfect, whole, and complete in the very mind of God, that its beautiful unfoldment is already known in the mind of God, and that everyone who attends is already in that space, in that place of receptivity, that they receive a blessing in their hearts, their soul, their mind, and that we are all better for it simply because we are in that place of oneness where we meet and greet the beauty, the life, and the love of the Spirit of God. And so I give grateful thanks in knowing that right where we are, that God, the infinite spirit of life, is the eternal givingness, the eternal loving kindness, the eternal goodness of life to all. So I release this word knowing that it is complete and it does exactly what it says that it will do. And I invite you to join me in closing with an open heart. And so it is. Amen.
So it is. Amen. Thank you so much, Reverend Carolyn,
You're
for
welcome.
joining us today. Again, I'm Reverend Dale Worley and look forward to seeing you all at our 106th Annual World Congress of the International New Thought Alliance beginning July the 20th. Check us out at newthoughtevents.org. And so it is.
So it is.